we've got the next, we're fitting in 3 talks. So we just managed to speed things up a little bit. So this is great. We've got like another 5 people that have come and asked me about giving a talk, which means that if you are speaking and you're like, you know what, I'm done with what I need to say, don't worry, you can end. We can keep going to the next person. But we'll have Kristen, then Michael from Fulcra, we'll have Harry talking. Yes, Harry's here, awesome. Nick Ford, I saw you somewhere, so I hope you're in the audience, otherwise I need to come find you. Jane, and then Benjamin. It's gonna be a great little whiz through of awesome talks. If you are speaking, reminder for those who are new in the room, I'm not going to present everyone. So once someone has done speaking and you know you're next, just come up to the stage. The microphone kind of sucks today. We're waiting for different equipment to come in. So please, if you can just actually speak, it's a lot easier for everyone in the audience so it doesn't echo. And yeah, let's go through. Oh, and if you're speaking, reminder, I've got a timer that's just sitting on my lap and it starts going red and it gets angry at you. So, you know, just be thoughtful about like making sure you get done in time so I don't have to call you out. Awesome. You're up. It's on you.
Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, and to test my voice, if you can hear me in the back, can you give me some jazz fingers? Everybody jazz fingers? Awesome, thank you so much. So I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you, but for those I have not, my name's Kristen. I'm a neuroscience PhD, Buddhist chaplain. I've been on the big pharma side, and also I'm a chronic health patient and caregiver. So a lot of what I've been talking about today will be from these 4 possibly orthogonal perspectives and experiences. But before me yapping on about me, I would love to bring attention to you right now. So a really brief imaginal exercise. Do you mind closing your eyes for a few seconds and think of someone you know in your life who is not in good health right now? Someone you might be close to, maybe it's someone you haven't seen for a while. And imagine giving them a big hug or a pat on the back if that's your relationship. And remember that because of the fact that you can even conjure up this person in your mind, you have stored this compassion within you all along. And you only have to remember it and recall it to bring it up. So I'm confident that I'm in a room full of compassionate people at Edge Esmeralda. And so as a Buddhist chaplain, I want to present a hypothesis because a lot of my role is to help people face the fact that we are immortal beings. And, I welcome you to open your eyes. Sorry, I forgot to do that last instruction. Thank you so much for listening to me. So when Brian Johnson came out with the Don't Die campaign, and he's someone I respect for all the innovation he's bringing into the field, I thought, well, this might not actually be optimal for everyone, especially if you have a Buddhist inclination, you consider mortality as something that you do want to face fearlessly. It might actually contradict some of the principles within you. And so I want to present this simple 2x2 to explain some of the trade-offs that might be at play right now as we try to reach for longevity and some of the biohacking movements. So here we have the left side. There's the neurotic biohacker, the influencer devotee. So again, these are not actually judgmental labels. I think we all cycle through various quadrants. It's only like our state of mind at any one time. But essentially, a lot of the materials that are presented online based on the business mechanisms behind social media are based on invoking anxiety and fear, and in order to sell some sort of newest discoveries to improve our health, right? And again, this is not to blame anybody, that's just by design how capitalism works. So, so that's one of the trade-offs, is that there is a bit of a fear and concern-driven market that's going on. And now health has become this like high-stakes optimization game instead of something that's soothing and spiritually nourishing. And so we also have the issue of being authority-based right now, right? So a lot of what we hear online are based on authoritative figures who build like an audience for themselves. And sometimes it's really easy as a heuristic to shortcut, right? Being like, oh, if so-and-so said this, and he's a respected professor at this university, he's got big podcasts, therefore I trust that he's done the adequate research to promote a certain theory or certain product. However, this mental shortcut has a trade-off of ceding our sovereignty in our thinking. And so what I'm proposing here is a mechanism by which we do take advantage of scientific inquiry. So as a neuroscientist, and it seems like there's many of folks here who have also been in the lab, like we have been trained in certain ways to interpret papers, and even with LLMs these days, what I've observed is that there is a temptation to ask LLM, like, you can summarize this paper, can you tell me the implications? However, there are certain industry practices within academia that may obfuscate the truth of the science or some of the integrity of what's going on. And I feel like as someone with a scientist background, I would love to be able to share what are some of the ways that we think about papers slightly differently from a layperson who hasn't been in the lab. And the other thing is care-driven, right? So just now with the exercise that we did together, that's something that I really care about as a chaplain, is that when we are trying to improve our own health span, it is very easy to slide into like, oh no, I need to look after myself. However, what I've seen in a lot of folks that I've interacted with who are interested in personal health, they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for their loved ones. And a lot of research is in a caregiver role. So what can we do in order to support this movement of people who care not only about ourselves, but also for others? And lastly, as someone who has been in the pharma industry, the sad thing is I've seen how the sausage is made and the complexities behind all the parties that are involved in our healthcare system. And I feel that there's also a lot of room here for us to acknowledge that although we try to look after ourselves, and I think many of us here we're good enough to attend this month-long conference. However, there will be a time when we'll eventually have to be looked after in a hospital system, in areas where it is much harder to advocate for ourselves, especially when there are authoritative figures involved, like healthcare providers. And so what can we do in order to advocate for ourselves, and also when our loved ones are going through the system? Like medical gaslighting is a very common phenomenon, especially in women's health. Like what can we do to educate ourselves to know how to navigate the healthcare system? And so my simple message for everyone is, how about instead of don't die, we study ourselves like compassionate scientists. So we value inquiry over influence. We value care as an antidote to fear. And right now I am running a community where we are a whole bunch of smart folks like you are trying to figure this out together. So please visit reframescience.org to learn more. But really, this talk is an invitation. Oh, by the way, when you visit this website, it just goes to schedule a chat with me anyway. So no matter what, I want to chat with you. But essentially, I would love to be able to connect with folks here who are thinking along the same lines. Maybe you are interested in improving your personal health, but you're finding a lot of the online discourse to be slightly out of the comfort zone of what you would like to promote in the world. And also, lastly, I have a small gift for you, a physical item. So unfortunately, this is a well-attended talk. I only have 20 sets of these, but I have whoever you're thinking of, I have a letter set with a stamped envelope for you to write a letter to the person you've been thinking of. So please come to me afterwards, and I'll give you my a little letter set. So, wow. Thank you so much.